Coming up in this hour of Chris 6 Sunrise, Corpus Christi police continue their crackdown on reckless driving here in the Coastal Bend. We're going to take a look at how many drivers were arrested over the weekend.
And the New Harbor Bridge is now partially open. We'll show you what routes you can take as you get ready for your Monday morning commute.
Drive around Duval County and you'll see homes that need some TLC. I'm Melissa Trevino in San Diego. I'll tell you about a special program that's aiming to help those in need.
Good morning, folks. Happy Monday and welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. You're waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. Oh, what a great week we have in store, filled with opportunities. But is it going to be a soggier one? To answer that question and how the roads are doing so far, turn things on over to our meteorologist, Julia Quady. Good morning, Julia.
Good morning.
Hey there, good morning, you guys. So we are going to start off this week on a soggy note, but we're going to have those showers begin to wrap up, having drier conditions ahead for us towards the second half of our work week. But right now, taking a look at our traffic flow maps, heading from Ocean Drive down to SPID and as well as on Saratoga, looking at very easy driving conditions with no traffic issues on any of those three roadways right now heading out the door. So you're in some good news if you need to head on either of those three roadways starting out your morning on this Monday. Now getting a closer look, heading from SPID, getting a little bit closer towards the Flower Bluff area. Pretty much same thing, looking at pretty much easy driving conditions right now starting you out, heading out the door. Moving now towards Flower Bluff in general, we can see things are moving well heading on Waldron Road. Same thing on Flower Bluff Drive as per usual during the morning hours. Got a little bit of congestion starting to build as you get a little bit closer towards the gate at NES Corpus Christi. But other than that, traffic flow is still looking to be pretty decent across the majority of the roadways heading on Flower Bluff. Then taking a last look now, heading on the JFK Causeway going to and from the island this morning. Looking at easy driving conditions with no issues heading on that bridge at all. Now I'll have more details of what you can expect in your forecast. Again, getting a soggy start for us for the end of our month of June. Looking at more sunshine coming in towards the back end of our work week. And more details on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Julia, thank you. All right, folks, we're going to get to your neighbor news in just a little bit, but first we have some national headlines to get to. On Sunday, the Senate began debate on President Donald Trump's chief domestic policy bill. The debate could take up to 20 hours. Senate rules allow each party 10 hours to discuss the proposed legislation. Once the debate is over, senators can then propose amendments to the legislation. After that is complete, a final vote on the legislation, or a vote-a-thon, will take place. Scripps News Group Joe St. George will join us at 6:12 with the latest from Washington.
The U.S. Justice Department fired at least 3 federal prosecutors who worked on cases against January 6 riot defendants. According to sources, dismissal letters were signed by Attorney General Pam Bondi. No reason for the removal was stated in the letters. These are the latest disciplinary actions taken against federal attorneys who brought criminal charges against those who stormed the Capitol in an effort to overturn the 2020 election results.
Well, 2 firefighters were shot and killed, and another firefighter was injured while responding to a brush fire Sunday in Idaho. And police say they're not sure if they are dealing with one or more shooters, but they do say that gunfire came at first responders from multiple directions. Authorities say a deceased man with a firearm was found near the scene. After the discovery, authorities lifted the shelter-in-place order.
The Corpus Christi Violent Crimes Traffic Units continue to crack down on reckless driving. It arrested 6 people over the weekend. On Friday, 4 people were arrested for going over 100 miles per hour on Highway 358 and cutting in and out of traffic. 2 of the people arrested were on motorcycles. On Saturday, 2 other drivers were arrested for reckless driving after officers observed the vehicles racing on westbound Highway 358 near Everhard Road. Both of their vehicles were impounded.
After more than a decade of planning and construction, the southbound lanes of the New Harbor Bridge are officially opened. The lanes officially opened up on Saturday afternoon, followed by a ribbon cutting. Then the inaugural crossing of the bridge. If you are heading to Portland or North Beach, you're still going to have to use the old bridge for now. TxDOT is hoping to open the northbound lanes of the new bridge in early July. If you're taking the new bridge this morning and need some help, we've got you covered. Once you cross the new bridge, you will now immediately be connected to the Crosstown Expressway. And if you need to go downtown after you cross the bridge, take the second exit on the right. From there, you can either take Comanche Street or take a loop and go to Staples. If you need to go to the Bayfront, just take the first exit after crossing the bridge onto I-37. Then immediately exit, take the turnaround, and get back onto 37 to get to the Bayfront.
A really cool program is happening in Duval County right now. I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter. This new program is run by GrantWorks and is basically giving away a brand new home to people who really need them, especially people living in unsafe conditions. I met up with Maria Molina, whose house is falling apart. She says she has an unstable bathroom floor. The shower is too small for medical equipment. There's water damage everywhere. She's super excited about the possibility of getting some help. If you know anyone who would benefit from a new energy efficient home at no cost to them, they should go by the Duval County Courthouse and pick up an application. The deadline to submit applications is July 18th.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Monday. Heading out the door, you're going to be looking at a couple wet roadways out there as we did see some scattered showers pass their way through the coastal bend overnight. Now, rain opportunities are starting to dwindle off a little bit, set to return as we head towards the later hours this morning with more thunderstorm activity ahead for us this afternoon, too. Before we go ahead and get into that, let's right now take a look at our Saharan dust tracker where you can see those plumes and round Saharan dust that are making their way through the coastal bend and across South Texas at large at this point. We'll have rounds and rounds of it to look ahead towards throughout the remainder of our work week. We'll start to see that start to decrease a bit in terms of that activity of that Saharan dust, but then another round set to make its way into the area towards the latter half of our work week. So, of course, it's going to cause a bit of a progressing issue in terms of our air quality here in the coastal bend. So we'll stick around that yellow zone. So technically that unhealthy for some sensitive groups in the area ahead for us tomorrow, Wednesday, as well as on your Thursday. So not going to look at any much of changes coming ahead for us in terms of our air quality. Still going to be a little bit uncomfortable for folks who might be more sensitive towards that dust and aerosols being in our area. Looking at Doppler radar, like I said, we can see those scattered showers that kind of passed on through the coastal bend overnight. Now things are a bit dry, just a couple of passing showers that went through portions of Aransas County, nearby Seadrift, as well as Victoria Crossroads at this point. We'll still have some more rounds of shower activity expected to come into the forecast later on this morning and certainly by this afternoon. Right now, looking at our temperatures and feel like temperatures across the area, things are going to be off towards a muggy start, especially for areas that are along the coast. Seeing those temperatures are reaching towards those upper 70s to lower 80s. Here in Corpus Christi, though, sitting at 74 degrees, 73 over in Robstown and Alice, 75 degrees your temperature starting your morning out over in Mathis. Look at our hour-by-hour forecast. Not going to see too much of any sunshine for us today. Just do that extra bit of moisture adding towards our cloud cover. And now our rain chances ahead for us in the forecast. Just a couple spotty maybe opportunities to see some of that sunshine over the course of our day. See our temperatures also take a bit of a hit. Going to be slightly below average, barely making their way towards the upper 80s by 1 o'clock this afternoon. But along that same time frame, that's when we expect more of the shower opportunity to see a bit more activity in terms of more thunderstorms coming into the area during our afternoon before our rain chances begin to drop off as we head towards the evening. But we'll still be looking at maybe at best a couple stray showers here and there to pop on in even after the main course of our rain event is over for us earlier this afternoon. But even after that, rain chances will still stick around with some storm activity possible on Tuesday. Then our rain activity will begin to wrap up with more plumes of Saharan dust and more intense heat back towards the holiday weekend.
Well, President Trump would like his domestic policy bill on his desk by Friday. Coming up after the break, Scripps News Group, Joe St. George is going to break down everything for us and exactly what happened over the weekend. Hey, welcome back, folks. It is 6:12 on this beautiful Monday morning. We're getting a live look from our station side, Skycam. And man, what a gorgeous view we have in Florida. We're going to be bringing on in meteorologist Julian Whitty in just a bit. We'll look at our forecast this morning. But first, we head to Washington. So we head to Washington, of course, where Sunday the Senate began debate on President Donald Trump's chief domestic policy bill.
Yeah, to talk more about this, Scripps News Group Deputy Political Director Joe St. George joins us now. Good morning, Joe. So can you explain to our viewers what was added in the bill over the weekend?
Yeah, it's technically a holiday week, right? Sometimes these weeks can be a bit slow. This would be anything but a slow week in American politics as President Trump tries to get this legislation that we've been following for months and months and months now to his desk. Remember, he doesn't have to have it on his desk by July 4th. It's not like taxes will go up on July 5th or the country will default on July 5th. The president, though, wants this campaign promise accomplished and done, though, as quickly as possible. So he's really pressuring lawmakers to get it across the finish line. And there is a schedule in which, if everything falls into place, maybe a little luck gets involved, then the president will get his wish. Let's start with what happened, recap you over the weekend. The Senate took up the bill. It moved it along ever so slowly, procedurally. Senate Democrats, every step of the way, have tried to delay it as much as possible. They're at one point asked for a reading of the entire bill. That lasted 16 hours or so. Beginning in about 2 hours, there'll be something known as a vote-a-rama that gets underway. I know that doesn't sound particularly fun, but that's when senators propose amendments. Oftentimes, in this case, Democrats will propose amendments to embarrass Republicans when it comes to the legislation. This vote-a-rama could last all day. But Democrats can't delay a final vote forever. We expect Texas Senators, Senator John Cornyn, Senator Ted Cruz, to eventually vote with their colleagues to advance this bill. It's tough to say for sure if the votes are there. We know at least 2 Republican senators have been very outspoken about this bill. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky is concerned about the debt. The Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says this bill will add north of $3 trillion to the nation's deficits over the next 10 years. And over the weekend, Republican Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina not only blasted the bill, not only said he's not going to vote for it because of all the changes to Medicaid and the fear he has people will lose health care, but he's not running for re-election as a direct result of it. And that came in the lead up to President Trump really on social media calling for a primary in North Carolina to try and get him out of office. I mentioned Senator Tillis because it shows you how involved President Trump is and the political pressure that he's going to put on Republicans this week to get it across the finish line. He's first doing that in the Senate. If we get a vote late tonight, overnight hours, then it moves to the House for another round of voting. He'll put the pedal to the metal and political pressure in that chamber as well to pass it. So I can't promise you the outcome of this yet, but I can promise there's going to be some political drama throughout the week, guys.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for the info today.
Yeah, we really appreciate your insights, sir. Thanks for staying on it. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Monday. Heading out the door, you'll start to see a little bit some potentially wet pavements and wet roadways out there because we did see some kind of scattered showers that passed through portions of Coastal Bend earlier overnight. Now things are starting to be a bit dry for a bit of a intermission in our rainfall activity for now, but our showers are expected to resume back as we look towards later on this morning and certainly by this afternoon. Looking at Doppler radar, we can see where those rain chances have started to dwindle off a bit. Had some passing showers that went by near portions of Aransas County and now made its way further up north towards Seadrift and now Victoria Crossroads. So now things are again a bit dry for us temporarily until our rain chances come back into the area later on this morning, heading towards this afternoon. Right now, looking at our temperatures, I feel like temperatures, things are still off towards a warm note, not too muggy though, doesn't feel too oppressive out there. Right now in Corpus Christi sitting at 74 degrees, 73 over in Robstown, 75 degrees is your temperature over in Mathis. Of course, for our areas that are more closer along the coastline, you guys are going to be a little bit more insulated with that humidity from those coastal waters. So that's why you guys are feeling a bit warmer with those temperatures reaching towards those upper 70s, towards those lower 80s. Right now, looking at our planner for today, again, we'll have our rain chances come back later on this morning and then drop off ahead for the midday. And then true beneficial rainfall will be on the way towards this afternoon with more scattered showers and thunderstorms possible. Now, we'll also see a bit of a hit for our temperatures too, going to be a tad bit cooler compared to what we had to endure yesterday and certainly last week. We'll start to see again cooler temperatures just related towards all that cloud cover, and again with all those showers that are expected to pass on through, it just won't really give our temperatures that opportunity to increase and not really get nearby average, just slightly below average for our afternoon high temperature, only reaching nearby 90 degrees here in Corpus Christi. But our rainfall opportunity will extend beyond today, heading towards tomorrow, only start to decrease for us as we look ahead towards your Wednesday and certainly towards the second half of our work week. We'll start to shift our forecast conversation, not really talking about rainfall opportunities and just really talking more so about that widespread haze that's going to continue to make its way into the coastal bend from that Saharan dust. But looking at our tropical outlook, this is what's actually feeding some of our rain chances that's starting today and that's going to extend towards tomorrow. We're talking about remnants of what it was Tropical Storm Barry that made landfall yesterday for the Gulf Coast of Mexico. So that moisture band is starting to reach us here in South Texas, giving us our rainfall opportunities in the forecast. Now we are looking at another area of now potential for the National Hurricane Center is looking at an area of interest that has right now a 20% chance of formation over the next over the next 7 days rather. But for now, for us here at home, just looking at those rain chances that will be extending it towards tomorrow before things start to dry out for us with more Saharan dust on the way, giving us dry heat for the end of our work week.
Thank you so much, Julia. It is the start of the work week, like she just mentioned, which means some of you might need to stop and fill up the tank. Coming up after the break, I have a look at those gas prices around the coastal bend. Welcome back, folks. It's the start of the week, so you might need to fill up that tank. But hey, don't worry. I'm tracking those prices across the country as well as here in the coastal bend to save you that extra dollar, right? Well, hey, let's start off with the national prices. National average is $3.13 according to Gas Buddy. That's actually down by 7 cents since Friday. As for the Lone Star State, we're sitting at $2.72, doing a bit better over here. And of course, that's according to Gas Buddy, down by 6 cents since Friday. But we can do better here in the coastal bend. Check it out, $2.56. That's at several stations around Corpus Christi, rather. That's at third place. Second place is the Murphy Express on Saratoga and Airline, $2.55. First place goes to the Valero on Saratoga and Cimarron, $2.54. My Portland friends, you guys are still doing better, though. The cheapest price I was able to find is the Texan over off of Buddy Gannon Drive. That's $2.45. Several stations actually have that same price too, so if you find anything more expensive, maybe just drive down the road over there in Portland. So for our island friends, as always, you're paying a little bit more, $2.69 at all of the stations except for 1 or 2 in Port A that have a little bit more expensive prices. I think it's actually up by 10 cents. So definitely find those cheaper prices there if you can. As always, if you find any cheaper prices than I have stated, might be worthwhile stopping and filling up while you can.
All right, now taking it outside, looking at our First Community Bank Skycam atop the USS Lexington. We see hints of that sunrise beginning to happen underneath that haze, thanks to that Saharan dust. And we got some more showers coming in on the way as well, heading towards the later hours today. But right now, focusing on that traffic flow, things are looking pretty good on the Harbor Bridge. Both of those Harbor Bridges there, to be specific there. But let's go and take a look at the rest of our traffic flow maps to see what you can expect on other roadways heading from the island going to and from the JFK Causeway there. You're looking at pretty easy driving conditions. Moving now on over to Flower Bluff, clear on Walter Road and on Flower Bluff Drive. As per usual during the morning hours, just a little bit of a slowdown as you get a little bit closer towards the gate at NAS Corpus Christi. Now jumping now on over towards downtown. Things are looking good for your drive on Ocean Drive as well as heading on SPID and Saratoga. Pretty green roadways on all those 3 areas, so you're looking at pretty easy driving conditions heading on anywhere downtown on AO3 roadway starting you out on this Monday. More details expecting your forecast coming up.
A new city hall for Rockport. I'm Adam Beam with your first look inside.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Hey there, good morning and welcome back. Right now we're taking a live look outside of our CCAC Skycam over Snoopy's Pier. You see some small hints of that sunrise beginning off over the horizon of the JFK Causeway, but it's kind of being obstructed a bit by all that cloud cover coming in from all that moisture from our tropical system that was off towards the Gulf Coast of Mexico. Remnants of that is now giving us our rain chances for today and for tomorrow. But along with that, we got that haze coming in from that Saharan dust. So all of that kind of compacting, leading towards a bit of a obstructed view from our sunrise starting us out on this Monday morning. But here's what else you can expect from your forecast for us this week. We've got those scattered showers and thunderstorms to start off our work week, again attributed towards that tropical moisture and remnants of Tropical Storm Barry that is now pushing its way to the coastal bend, giving us a chance to see some showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon. But along with that, we'll also be looking at a below average start for our temperatures for the first half of our work week before we start to see more heat and more of that Saharan dust and drier conditions come come back to the forecast in the second half of our work week. So along with that, we'll see warmer temperatures. And again, that Saharan dust still going to plume its way across the area, leading towards some widespread haze here in the coastal bend. Again, 2 rounds of that expected for us this week. So we're looking at an extended period of us really focusing on Saharan dust being the main focus of our forecast for us this week. Right now, taking a look at Doppler radar, we can see those widespread showers that kind of passed on through overnight. Now things are a bit dry before we have some more shower activity that's expected to make its way into the area by this afternoon. So looking at our planner for today, not going to see too much again of that sunshine, really not going to be super present in our forecast today, looking at mostly cloudy skies. And again, that shower activity that is going to be continuing as we look ahead towards this afternoon. By 1 o'clock and through 3 o'clock this afternoon, we'll be expecting more of that shower activity to become maybe a bit heavy at times with the thunderstorms that are expected between that range for this afternoon. Also, we'll see our temperatures kind of struggle to really increase beyond the upper 80s. Maybe see a high temperature of 90 degrees here in Corpus Christi, but still below average temperatures that we're expecting to forecast today on the front of seeing all that moisture passing on through plentiful cloud cover, and then our rain chances that will also linger ahead for us into your Tuesday. So looking at a decent chance of seeing isolated or even widely scattered showers expected for us on Tuesday. But thereafter, we'll see a decrease in our rainfall opportunities as we'll start to now at that point switch over our focus from, again, rain event, and then looking at more of that Saharan dust that's expected to plume on its way over into the coastal bend by your Thursday. So we'll be just looking at widespread haze and dry heat. They'll be returning back to the forecast for the second half of your work week, extending towards your holiday weekend. So looking at our Saharan dust tracker here, we can see all that dust that's going to push its way across the coastal bend ahead for us for the start of our work week and towards the end of our work week. Still looking at rounds of Saharan dust pushing its way into the area. So we'll continue to struggle with our air quality here in the coastal bend. It's going to continue to be in that unhealthy zone, so a bit unhealthy for sensitive groups. So folks who might have issues with maybe their respiratory system or even asthma or allergies, just want to make sure you're being extra careful as that Saharan dust continues to plume its way across the coastal bend. Now looking at our tropical outlook, again, this is like what I mentioned, Tropical Storm Barry or remnants of that system, giving us all that moisture to see our rain chances extend today in towards tomorrow. And also we got a new area that the National Hurricane Center is beginning to monitor for tropical development. Right now only has a low 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. But for us here at home, starting out the work week with those rain chances of seeing some scattered storms and thunderstorms, and then some Saharan dust and dry conditions towards the end of our work week.
I'm John Matarese. As tariffs on imported appliances take effect, where that appliance is manufactured could now make a big difference. I'll show you how to save coming up.
Also coming up after the break, with water restrictions still in effect, neighborhood news reporter Tyrese Boone has some tips on how to keep that lawn green and pristine.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Hello, Chris 6 Sunrise Team. We're Mission 911 in the West Side neighborhood, and we want to wish our neighbors across the coastal bend out there a great morning and a great day.
Wow, what a great group over there. We love the positive vibes early this morning. We hope you guys also have a great day over at Mission 911. And folks, if you want to send us your own shout out video, all you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen or go to our website, christv.com. So taking care of lawns and gardens are a pastime that many neighbors enjoy, right? But watering schedules and heat could cause them to leave their lawn behind. Well, neighborhood news reporter Tyrese Boone found some tips to keep your lawn green and pristine.
For neighbors across the coastal bend like Ruben Burrell, taking care of lawns are not just a hobby, but a way of life.
To touch the soil, to be working with the environment, it allows me to get grounded. And I think it's becoming more popular because people are looking for those outlets.
But hot temperatures and water restrictions can cause a turf war for some grasses and plants, which has led to neighbors reaching out to me for some advice on how to keep that grass greener on the other side. I went to get some professional advice from a landscaper, Christopher Marquez, who suggests tricks to help keep moisture, such as keeping your grass higher.
I wouldn't recommend cutting it really short. And also what would help is if you add some mulch to around your trees or your plants.
Marquez also mentions hardscaping areas that can't grow, get drought-resistant plants, but more importantly, rain barrels to collect extra water.
Let's say I need more water for something, or I'm putting something brand new in, right? Putting a brand new plant in. Well, instead of bothering the city, I can go to my rain barrel source and use that.
I also reached out to city officials who mentioned they have rain barrels and wastewater programs for residents to use. With these tips, residents can keep a healthy lawn while making every drop count during these
Alrighty, Tyrese, thank you so much. For more tips on keeping your lawns healthy, you can visit our website, christv.com.
Hey there, good morning. So this is what you can expect for your forecast today on this Monday to start out our work week and for our last day of June. We're expecting some more showers start to rumble on through here in the coastal bend later on this morning. Temperatures are going to gradually increase very slowly, but not really make their way towards our average high temperatures that we should be seeing for this time of year. We'll be looking at slightly below average high temperatures across the coastal bend this afternoon because of that extra bit of cloud cover and tropical moisture adding towards our rain chances that will increase in full force ahead for us this afternoon. So by that time frame, we'll be expecting some more thunderstorms to rumble on through into the coastal bend between 1 and 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then we'll see our rain chances begin to diminish ahead for us by the time we look towards the evening. But even still, our rain event won't be quite over just yet. We'll still be looking at an extended period of showers and thunderstorms coming to the forecast on your Tuesday. Then after that, that's when things will begin to dry out for us. And we'll be having a return of near normal to then above average temperatures back in the forecast as we end our work week and heading towards your holiday weekend. We'll have plumes and rounds of Saharan dust that's going to make its way into the coastal bend as well. So while things will be dry, we'll still be looking at a bit of a obstructive view in our skies with that widespread haze causing a bit of an issue in our air quality that's going to extend again to your holiday weekend.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of non-stop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. We'll check in with meteorologist Julia Quady in just a bit. But first, here's your neighborhood check-in.
3.
Nearly 8 years in the making, but the day is finally here. When the original City Hall in Rockport was destroyed in Hurricane Harvey, city officials set their sights on a new and improved location. And on Friday, neighbors of Rockport, as well as other parts of the coastal bend, gathered to celebrate the momentous occasion. The new facility boasts nearly double the space of the old building with modern amenities like expanded public areas, courtrooms, and emergency operation spaces.
I'm envious of all the employees that got to move into it. I was hoping I was going to get into it. So the feeling of anticipation that the employees have had for such a long time, it's wonderful.
A really cool program is happening in Duval County right now. I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter. This new program is run by GrantWorks and is basically giving away a brand new home to people who really need them, especially people living in unsafe conditions. I met up with Maria Molina, whose house is falling apart. She says she has an unstable bathroom floor. The shower is too small for medical equipment. There's water damage everywhere. She's super excited about the possibility of getting some help. If you know anyone who would benefit from a new energy efficient home at no cost to them, they should go by the Duval County Courthouse and pick up an application. The deadline to submit applications is July 18th.
All right, now taking it outside, looking at our view atop our Skycam over at SPID. You can see things are looking pretty good in terms of your traffic flow right now. Nothing too hectic or heavy or congestion on SPID at the moment. So go and take a look at the rest of the traffic on map to get a better idea we can expect on other roadways throughout the area. You can see again, things are looking good on SPID all throughout that area. For your drive this morning, all clear on Ocean Drive and on Saratoga. So again, no traffic issues to be concerned about if you plan on heading on any of those 3 roadways. And even as we take a closer look on SPID starting to approach the Flower Bluff area, again looking at easy driving conditions, slightly different throughout some roadways here on Flower Bluff. bit of a mixture of medium to slow speeds that you'll see in both directions heading on Waldron Road. So just make sure you keep that in mind, and a bit of a more congestion happening as you get a little bit closer towards the gate at NAS Corpus Christi. Other than that, though, looking at clear driving conditions heading to and from the island on the JFK Causeway. That's it for your Traport. More details of your forecast coming up.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
All right, folks, we've compiled the list. Here are the 6 things you need to know before you go.
The Senate has begun debating President Donald Trump's chief domestic policy bill. The debate could take up to 20 hours. Senate rules allow each party 10 hours to discuss the proposed legislation. Now, once the debate is over, the senators can then propose amendments to the legislation. After that is complete, a final vote on the legislation will take place.
Well, attorneys representing 20 states are expected to appear in court in Rhode Island today to plead their case for why the Trump administration should not be allowed to cancel some transportation funding. The White House threatened to withhold billions of dollars for states that refuse to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. The states argue that the transportation funding is unrelated to immigration enforcement. In June, the federal judge temporarily blocked the White House from withholding the funds, saying it would cause irreparable harm. Today's hearing will help determine if that temporary block should remain in place.
Starting in July, some Americans will be getting smaller Social Security checks. The Social Security Administration says it overpaid millions of dollars over recent years. Now it's trying to recover those overpayments. The overpayments happen due to miscalculations or people not reporting income changes. For people who were overpaid, Social Security had been withholding just 10% of checks. But now the administration says it's increasing that 50% for some to 50% rather for some recipients. People can request a waiver if they can't repay or weren't at fault.
Well, the Corpus Christi Violent Crimes Traffic Units continued crackdown operations on reckless driving after arresting 6 people over the weekend. On Friday, 4 people were arrested for reckless driving for going over 100 miles per hour on Highway 358 and cutting in and out of traffic. 2 of the arrests were on motorcycles. On Saturday, 2 other drivers were arrested for reckless driving after officers observed vehicles racing on westbound Highway 358 near Everhart Road. Both their vehicles were impounded.
As you may know, after more than a decade of planning and construction, the southbound lanes of the New Harbor Bridge are now open. The lanes officially opened up on Saturday afternoon, followed by a ribbon cutting, then an inaugural crossing of the bridge. If you're heading to Portland or North Beach, you will still have to use the Old Harbor Bridge, though. TxDOT is hoping to open the northbound lanes of the new bridge in early July, and the New Harbor Bridge is now the tallest in Texas and is built to last at least 170 years.
Well, vehicle access to Ellis Seawall is now being limited due to beach erosion. The city announced that they have installed bollards on the beach at mile marker 217.5. That's just south of the Wyndham Hotel. Pedestrian access to the beach, well, that's still opened.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Monday. Heading out the door, you might see some wet pavement and wet roadways out there, as we did see some scattered showers pass on through overnight. Now things are having a bit of an intermission in our rainfall activity, expected to pick up though by this afternoon. Let's go ahead and get into what else you can expect in your forecast this week. Again, starting off our work week with some scattered showers and thunderstorms from this deep tropical moisture coming in from what was remnants of Tropical Storm Barry that kind of made landfall and impact yesterday over for the Gulf Coast portion of Mexico. So again, that's going to give us our rain chances. That's going to begin today and extend towards tomorrow and your Tuesday. Also ahead in the forecast, we'll be looking at below average temperatures for us to start off our work week before that heat returns after our rain chances begin to taper off. So we'll see more of that sunshine, also that widespread haze coming in from brown Saharan dust that's going to push its way also here across South Texas. So a bit of a mixture of what we can expect in our forecast, starting off our focus on rainfall, then switching on over towards heat and Saharan dust that's going to continue to plume its way into the area. Looking at Doppler radar, we can see those showers that made their way across the coastal bend earlier this morning. Now again, looking at a bit of a dry period before our rain chances return back and increase by the time we head towards this afternoon for sure. We'll be seeing our temperatures kind of struggle a bit. Again, we'll be looking at below average high temperatures for us here in South Texas, specifically here in Corpus Christi, looking at a high temperature of potentially only 90 degrees. And again, we'll see an increase in our rainfall activity ahead for us this afternoon with better chances of thunderstorms coming into the area, with more widespread showers and thunderstorms at that range between our afternoon, and then we'll see our rain chances begin to taper off as we look ahead towards tonight. Now, rain chances will still look pretty decent ahead for us tomorrow as that tropical moisture continues to plume its way into the area. Thereafter, we'll see a decrease of those chances by the midweek, and then towards the end of this week, little to no rain chances expected, as again our focus will shift from our rain chances to Saharan dust and heat that's going to increase, with more above average temperatures back in the forecast for us as we look ahead towards the holiday weekend. So we can see rounds and rounds plume of that Saharan dust that's going to continue to push its way here into the coastal bend. So we'll see a continuous issue with our air quality that's going to extend throughout the majority of our work week. So all of us here will be looking at the unhealthy zones for sensitive groups, I should say, for the next few days this week as that Saharan dust continues to push its way here into the area. So just make sure you're being extra cautious if you are one of those more sensitive folks, meaning that you may suffer from asthma, if you have any respiratory issues, or even just allergies. Just make sure you're planning accordingly for any outdoor activities that you may be planning, especially for the upcoming holiday weekend. So again, starting out this week, looking at those scatter showers and thunderstorms below average temperatures, then switching on over towards the focus of Saharan dust and more heat and sunshine coming in towards the end of this week.
Alrighty, Julia, thank you so much. So July is apparently the perfect time of year to shop for large appliances. Retailers are offering big markdowns during their 4th of July sales, but will tariffs have you paying more than in previous years? Well, Scripps News Group consumer reporter John Matarese has a look.
So if you're in the market for a new refrigerator, range, washer, dryer, or dishwasher, it's really in your best interest right now to ask where that appliance was manufactured, because that could make a difference in how much you pay.
Jason Calcitre is shopping for windows and appliances, but starting to notice higher prices.
It's unfortunate that the tariffs are causing that sort of price increase.
Reese Dorsey, sales manager of an appliance store, says prices on models made in Europe and China started rising as soon as appliance tariffs took effect on June 23rd.
You're seeing price hikes on those?
Absolutely. At least a dozen brands.
But you don't necessarily have to pay more this summer. Stephanie Carls with Retail Me Not says getting the best price is about doing your research and shopping smarter.
Adding in additional promo codes and cash back, stacking all of those on top of each other is truly where you're going to get the best deal.
She also recommends asking the store if they can price match or provide anything extra.
Maybe a free install or free delivery and hauling away offers. Those are also going to quietly save you hundreds or more.
Another option, buying directly from the manufacturer.
We had gone on and done just a chat with that manufacturer, just kind of talking through those different options, and they price matched what was available at Best Buy.
Dorsey, meantime, says many American brands are tariff-free.
Frigidaire, Electrolux, very popular brand.
But you need to check that they were built in a U.S. factory.
Anything from the Whirlpool family, that would be KitchenAid, Maytag, and then you would also have the General Electric family.
Finally, look for 4th of July sales.
For almost $1,000, you might as well get a bundle, washer and dryer.
And that way you don't waste your money. John Matarese, Scripps News Group.
Back here at home, the city of Corpus Christi has a deep love for sports, right? But until now, coaches say that they've been missing a space to support that passion. Neighbor News reporter Jada Jenkins visits a new sports facility on the west side that's being built with a promise to expand athletics in the city as we know it.
All right, now I don't know much about soccer, so take it easy on me.
Yep.
I practice drills with players of the Corpus Christi Football Club, the only professional league in the area. One player, Abel Mendoza, tells me he's been playing soccer since he was 6. He still remembers the feeling of getting his first goal. He says he's excited for the next generation of athletes to train in the new sports center.
And, you know, it exposes them to understand the discipline and the consistency it takes to reach the next level.
But it's bigger than soccer. Corpus Christi Football Club is expanding into a multi-sport complex, covering sports from football to baseball and everything in between. With plans to finish expanding by December 2025, the center will feature 9 fields, a concession stand, and a 5,000-seat stadium. Director of Operations Marisa Trevino says the goal is to train and bring as many competitive games back to the area.
It's really what the city needs. There's nothing like it anywhere around.
Manuel Iwawuchi is one of the head coaches. He tells me he hopes the center will attract higher level coaches to train local talent.
The big goal and the big mission is to develop our own, is to develop homegrown.
He tells me for years, local athletes had to travel hours away just to compete. But now, this complex aims to keep that talent right here, right in Corpus Christi.
What do you want people to feel when they walk in?
Pride. Honestly, pride. The pride to be able to say we're from Corpus Christi, and they see facilities like this, they see that it's being taken seriously in our community.
Thanks, Jada. So if you'd like to learn more about the future of the Sports Center, you can always head to our website, christv.com.
Friday is the Mayor's Big Bang celebration on the 4th of July holiday, and the show begins this Friday at 9:30 p.m. The day kicks off with a 10 a.m. patriotic ceremony at Ben Garza Gym. Other activities include the Coastal Cometa Fest at Water's Edge Park, and that starts at 1 p.m. And Corpus Christi Regional Transportation Authority is providing a free park and ride shuttle for neighbors heading to the celebration. The City Hall parking lot and the Nueces County Courthouse will serve as a pickup site. You'll be dropped off at Water Street between Lomax Street and John Sarton Street. The shuttles will run from 11:30 a.m. until 30 minutes after the fireworks show. For more information about the Big Bang celebration, visit christv.com.
All right, folks, on to what's trending. Have you heard of the term fridge cigarettes? Well, it's a new way of talking about having a Diet Coke while on a work break. Think of it as a traditional smoke break, but with soda, so only slightly healthier. The term fridge cigarette is now growing in popularity, especially on social media. One of the first posts to use the term on TikTok in early June now has nearly 4 million views. And some people are having fun with it and sharing videos of themselves sipping their soda as if they were taking a drag from a cigarette.
Yeah, you should take your work breaks, though. I think that's just the moral of the story, I think.
Yes, exactly. Even if you don't smoke, you're still entitled to your 10, 15-minute break and utilize it. I think, especially in this field, right, we often go without breaks sometimes.
Lunches, too. But we eat on the go, you know?
Yes, as we are feverishly writing.
Exactly.
We multitask.
But I know you've been very hard at work tasking to track the weather because there's quite a bit going on, right?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot to watch for this week. Starting out with those soggy conditions, those showers are expected to continue to rumble their way through into the coastal bend, head for us throughout this afternoon and heading towards tomorrow and your Tuesday as well. And then we'll be switching our focus towards the second half of our work week, looking at that intense heat that's expected to come back to the forecast and more rounds and plumes of Saharan dust that's going to cause a continuous issue with our air quality that we're already starting out in that yellow zone already on this Monday. But right now, it's going to take a look at our Doppler radar. We can see some passing showers that went through the area earlier this morning. But again, things are going to be on a bit of a dry note for now before our shower activity is expected to continue and ramp back up as we head towards this afternoon. Right now, let's go ahead and take a look at our dog walking forecast. Introducing our star for today, we have Cha-Cha looking to maybe expecting some sunny conditions out there for their dog walk. But sorry to say for Cha-Cha, we're not going to have too much of that sunshine today because of that ample cloud cover and moisture coming in, feeding towards our rain chances again that will continue throughout our day and really uptick during the afternoon. But right now this morning, things will at least be dry, not too much of that shower activity just quite yet. Just right now looking at some mostly cloudy conditions all throughout our morning. Temperatures slowly starting to get towards those 80s, mid 80s by this afternoon. You can also note that our temperatures are going to be taking a bit of a dip for us today on the account of that extra bit of cloud cover and higher rain chances in the forecast. So we just won't see above average or even near average temperatures. We'll be looking at below average temperatures for our forecast for today. But focusing on our rain chances over the next few hours, we'll see a bit of a decrease that we're kind of going through right now. That's going to continue throughout the early part of our morning, then see an uptick by the afternoon. Around lunchtime or thereafter, we'll be looking at more scattered showers and thunderstorms that will be possible ahead for us this afternoon across the coastal bend. Then we'll see a decrease in our rainfall activity heading towards our late nighttime hours into early tomorrow morning on your Tuesday. So again, for today's forecast, we'll be looking at mostly cloudy conditions, showers and thunderstorms that will be possible rumbling through the area. Only see a high temperature of 90 degrees here in Corpus Christi. Maybe some areas barely, I should say, making it towards those upper 80s for your afternoon high temperatures, especially again with that lack of sunshine not really helping us out. That's why we'll see some areas kind of struggle to see their temperatures meet that average where we should be for this time of year. Now looking at rain chances extending towards tomorrow, again, as that tropical moisture from those remnants of Tropical Storm Barry, that's going to extend for our rain chances tomorrow. And then after that, we'll see drier conditions come in. And then again, our focus will be shifting. Instead of talking about rain chances, then we'll just be looking at more plumes of Saharan dust, causing a bit of an issue with, again, our air quality. Some folks having a bit of an issue with maybe their respiratory system, allergies, asthma. Just make sure you're being extra careful, especially looking ahead towards the holiday weekend, which is going to be bright, sunny, and dry, where you want to be outside. But just make sure you're being careful with that Saharan dust in the area.
I'm liking that look of that forecast, though, for the weekend.
Oh, no, yeah.
Definitely glad we aren't going to see rain for the fireworks show, too.
Yes, we'll be looking dry.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Julia. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Hope you have a fantastic week ahead filled with opportunities. We'll see you soon.
Bye.